Every storm arrives with a purpose, to measure the strength of your inner world. Life throws words, pressure, and moments designed to pull you out of balance. Most people get swept away, reacting to every push, every insult, every obstacle. But the one who refuses to be moved, the one who meets the storm with stillness, holds an invisible weapon that no force can match. Calm is not the absence of struggle. It is control in its purest form. It sharpens your vision when others are blinded by emotion. It steadies your hand when others are ruled by impulse. And it allows you to choose wisely when the world demands you act recklessly. Your calm is your shield against manipulation, your anchor when the ground beneath you shakes, and your quiet advantage in battles that others don't even see coming. When you walk into fire and don't flinch, when you face chaos and don't lose your center, you have already won before the fight begins. Because true strength is not proven by how loud you roar, but by how steady you stand when silence is hardest to keep. Every great struggle begins long before the first step is taken or the first word is spoken. The real war happens in silence, inside the mind where no one else can see. Thoughts collide like soldiers on opposing sides, each demanding attention, each pulling you in a different direction. Fear tells you to back down, while courage whispers to press forward. Doubt questions your worth, yet faith insists you are capable. This invisible battlefield shapes the choices that define your life. Your mind is not a peaceful space by default. It is a place of constant negotiation between desire and discipline, between impulse and restraint. Left unmanaged, it becomes a storm, raging and pulling you toward regret. But when directed with awareness, it transforms into your greatest weapon. The fight inside is not about silencing thoughts, but about commanding them. Victory begins when you realize that controlling your mind is the highest form of strength. The battlefield inside is filled with traps, disguised as comfort. Laziness whispers that rest is harmless, even when it steals hours meant for progress. Anger disguises itself as passion, pushing you to react before thinking. Fear pretends to protect you, but secretly builds walls around your potential. Every choice you make inside your mind sets the stage for what you will experience outside. Recognizing these hidden enemies is the first step toward mastery. Most people lose battles not because they lack ability, but because they surrender to noise in their heads. An insult repeats endlessly, echoing louder than it was ever spoken. A past mistake plays again and again, each time heavier than before. The mind exaggerates wounds until they feel unbearable. But the truth is, these are shadows, not realities. The mind paints illusions of weakness until you begin to believe them. This is how battles are lost without lifting a hand. Strength in the mind comes from learning the art of pause. The pause is the shield that blocks reckless reactions. In the pause, you catch the lies of your thoughts before they drive you into regret. Calm is built not by removing conflict, but by standing firm in the center of it. The battlefield is always alive, but your discipline decides who wins. Choosing silence over impulse is not weakness. It is the mark of a strategist. Discipline of the mind begins with attention. What you feed grows. What you neglect fades. If you feed fear, it multiplies until it rules your life. If you feed courage, it expands until nothing intimidates you. The mind is fertile ground, ready to grow whatever seeds you plant, but you must choose carefully. For every repeated thought is a seed becoming a forest. Your victories are born in the soil of your attention. Emotions rise like sudden storms, but the calm mind knows they are temporary. Anger feels endless until it passes. Fear feels permanent until courage cuts through it. Sadness feels heavy until perspective lightens the load. The battlefield inside is not about destroying emotions, but commanding them. To be calm is not to deny what you feel, but to guide it into strength. Your calm does not erase storms. It teaches you how to walk through them without drowning. The mind has its own weapons, sharper than any blade. Doubt is a poison that weakens resolve before action is taken. Comparison is a trap that convinces you others are ahead when you are exactly where you should be. Regret is a chain that ties you to moments you cannot change. Yet, the same mind that creates these prisons also holds the key. With focus, you can turn doubt into preparation, comparison into inspiration, and regret into wisdom. Clarity is the strongest ally on the battlefield within. Without clarity, thoughts scatter in every direction, each pulling at your attention until you are exhausted. But with clarity, the noise begins to separate from the signal. Clarity reminds you what matters and what does not. It strips away distractions and points you to the center of your purpose. A clear mind moves like a sharpened arrow, direct, precise, unstoppable. The greatest opponents in life are not external enemies, but internal ones. Fear of failure keeps more people stuck than actual failure itself. The craving for validation chains people more tightly than criticism ever could. Anger destroys more opportunities than rivals ever will. The inner war is subtle, yet it determines everything. Until you defeat what is inside, you will always find yourself outmatched by what is outside. Patience is one of the most overlooked strategies in the inner battle. In the rush to act, people often give in to the first thought that appears. But patience teaches you to wait, to observe, to separate truth from illusion. On the battlefield inside, patience is like armor. It keeps you safe until the right moment to strike arrives. Those who rush waste their energy. Those who wait choose their battles wisely. The voice of doubt is loud, but it is not final. It questions your worth, your ability, your future. Yet behind it, there is always another voice, the one of possibility. Most fail to hear it, because they give all their attention to the noise of fear. To win the battle inside, you must learn to recognize the quieter voice, the one that says, "Try again, rise again, push forward." That whisper is often the beginning of your greatest victories. Training the body is easier than training the mind. Muscles grow with repetition and effort, but the mind resists discipline. It runs toward distraction, avoids discomfort, and seeks constant stimulation. But with daily practice, the mind can be trained like a warrior. Reflection, silence, and self-awareness sharpen it. Just as a fighter prepares in the gym, you prepare in your thoughts. A strong mind cannot be shaken, no matter the storm outside. Victory in the mind requires sacrifice. You must give up the comfort of reacting to every emotion. You must surrender the habit of replaying past mistakes. You must release the addiction to validation from others. These sacrifices may feel painful at first, but they clear the path for freedom. Freedom is the real prize. The ability to think clearly, to act wisely, and to remain calm, no matter what rises against you. The battlefield inside the mind is where the future is shaped. Every decision begins here. Every success or failure is first fought here. Calm is not the absence of conflict, but the mastery of it. To rule your mind is to rule your life. The one who conquers the storms within carries a power that no external force can match. And once you own your calm, you no longer just survive battles, you walk into them already victorious. True power often hides in plain sight. While many chase physical dominance or loud displays of strength, the greatest weapon is silent, invisible, and deeply internal. It cannot be touched, stolen, or broken by others. This weapon is your calm, unseen by the world but felt in every decision you make. Those who carry it may not look threatening, yet their presence shifts the room. Power that cannot be seen, cannot be predicted, and that is its greatest advantage. Most people underestimate calm because they equate silence with weakness. They think control means passivity, when in truth it is the opposite. Calm is not about doing nothing. It is about doing the right thing at the right time with precision. The weapon no one can see strikes not in haste, but with intention. Those who live in reaction waste their energy. Those who live in calm preserve it, and when the moment comes, they move with unmatched clarity. In conflict, visible weapons invite defense. A raised voice provokes resistance. Aggression sparks retaliation, and panic breeds chaos. But calm disarms, without confrontation. It unsettles aggressors because they expect anger and do not find it. They expect fear and instead meet stillness. Calm confuses opposition because it offers no weakness to exploit. That is why it is a weapon hidden in plain sight, invisible but devastating in its effect. History is filled with leaders who commanded not by noise but by composure. Their words cut deeper because they were not thrown recklessly. Their presence carried weight, not because they demanded attention, but because they radiated control. Calm has always been the mark of true authority. Anyone can react loudly, but it takes mastery to remain centered when the world trembles. That centeredness is the invisible blade that no one can guard against. This hidden weapon works in everyday life, as much as in moments of crisis, in arguments. Calm shifts the power away from those who shout. In failure, calm prevents despair from swallowing hope. In success, calm keeps arrogance from destroying progress. The weapon no one can see is not reserved for warriors or leaders. It belongs to anyone willing to discipline their mind. It is always with you, waiting to be sharpened by choice. Calm is the unseen energy that directs action with wisdom. It stops you from saying words you cannot take back. It halts you from making decisions you will regret tomorrow. It transforms hesitation into patience and impulsiveness into strategy. While the world chases speed, calm gives you accuracy. The one who is calm never moves late. They move at the exact moment that matters. That timing is what makes calm a hidden weapon of mastery. This weapon is not built overnight. It is forged in moments where reacting feels natural, but restraint feels impossible. Each time you choose stillness over chaos, the blade sharpens. Each time you breathe through conflict, instead of exploding, the weapon grows stronger. Calm is not gifted. It is trained, tested, and refined in the fires of daily struggle. The more you practice it, the more invisible power you begin to carry. The invisible weapon also protects you from manipulation. When people know they can trigger you, they control you. They can push buttons, provoke reactions, and steer your choices. But when your calm cannot be broken, you become untouchable. They may throw insults, but your silence swallows them. They may push with pressure, but you stand unmoved. Calm denies them the control they seek, leaving you in command of yourself at all times. Calm creates an aura of mystery that unsettles opponents. People fear what they cannot read. They expect to see frustration, anger, or panic in your face. But when you remain composed, they cannot predict you. That unpredictability gives you the upper hand. The weapon no one can see is not only about control. It is about keeping your next move hidden until it arrives with precision. Calm makes you unreadable, and unreadable is undefeatable. The beauty of this weapon is that it requires no external validation. Unlike status, wealth, or appearance, calm cannot be taken by circumstance. It belongs entirely to you, and only you can sharpen or dull it. It costs nothing, yet holds value beyond measure. The world can strip away many things, your position, your possessions, even your freedom. But as long as you keep your calm, you remain unbroken. Calm is not absence of feeling. It is mastery of it. You may feel anger, but it does not control you. You may feel fear, but it does not paralyze you. You may feel sadness, but it does not drown you. The invisible weapon is not about becoming emotionless. It is about turning emotion into discipline, to feel and yet not be ruled by what you feel. That is the highest form of control. Think of calm as the invisible shield that guards your focus. Without it, distractions win, and you scatter your energy across battles that do not matter. With it, you protect your vision and invest your strength only where it counts. Calm turns chaos into background noise, allowing you to see the path clearly on this battlefield of life. The ones who win are rarely the strongest. They are the ones who remain focused while others are lost in noise. Calm also builds trust, for people instinctively follow those who are steady in storms. When everything falls apart, they look to the person who is not shaken. Calm makes you reliable, and reliability is power. It is why leaders who radiate calm inspire loyalty, and why warriors who carry calm are respected by both allies and enemies. The weapon no one can see not only protects you, but strengthens those around you. Every day, life offers you a chance to sharpen this weapon. The delay in traffic, the harsh words of another, the frustration of plans collapsing. These are not obstacles. They are training grounds. Each test is an opportunity to prove that your calm cannot be broken. When you treat life as practice for mastering this invisible weapon, challenges stop being curses and become lessons. Every storm becomes a forge for inner strength. The weapon no one can see is also the weapon no one can take. It is the purest form of freedom, control over yourself when nothing else is certain. While others exhaust themselves reacting, you conserve energy, choose wisely, and move with precision. Calm turns chaos into strategy, conflict into clarity, and pressure into power. When you hold this invisible weapon, you no longer fear the battles ahead, because in truth, you've already won them within. Every person reaches a breaking point, that moment when pressure feels unbearable, when the mind screams to give up, and when emotions threaten to spill over. It may come through loss, betrayal, failure, or relentless struggle. At this point, most people snap, releasing chaos into their words and actions. Yet, the rare few who remain calm in these moments discover a strength that others cannot see. True calm is proven when everything inside you wants to collapse. Calm at the breaking point is not denial of pain. It is discipline in the middle of pain. It is the decision to breathe when your chest is tight, to stand still when your knees shake, and to think clearly when your mind races. Calm in ordinary moments is easy. Calm at your limit is extraordinary. That is where growth is born, because you meet the edge of your endurance and choose control over chaos. The breaking point exposes who you are beneath the surface. Anger, fear, and despair rise quickly, stripping away masks and revealing your core. If you let these forces command you, they will drag you into regret. But if you hold your center, you step into a version of yourself you never knew existed. Calm at this stage is not about comfort. It is about transformation. You are no longer just surviving. You are reshaping your character. Moments of breaking, often, come without warning. Life rarely asks if you are ready before it strikes. Sudden loss, unexpected betrayal, or overwhelming failure can tear through your world in seconds. But preparation is found in daily practice. Each time you face smaller storms with calm, you train yourself for the hurricanes. By mastering small moments of restraint, you build the endurance needed for the breaking point. The body has limits, but the mind can stretch far beyond them if guided by calm. At the breaking point, your breath becomes your anchor. Every slow inhale is a reminder that you are not yet defeated. Every steady exhale clears away panic. before it takes control. In this way, calm transforms from a concept into a lifeline. The deeper the storm, the more your calm becomes the difference between collapse and endurance. Calm at the breaking point disarms fear. Fear thrives on speed, forcing you to imagine the worst and rush into poor choices. But calm slows everything down. It tells you to focus only on this moment, not the infinite possible outcomes. When fear says, "You cannot survive this," calm responds, "Survive this breath, then the next." The breaking point becomes less terrifying when you see it as a series of choices instead of one overwhelming event. Breaking points test patience more than strength. The desire to escape pain pushes you toward rash decisions, quitting too soon, reacting too harshly, or walking away from what still has value. Calm stretches patience, teaching you to wait without crumbling. Sometimes endurance is not about pushing harder, but about standing still when every part of you wants to run. Calm gives you that stillness, turning endurance into victory. Calm in crisis also protects relationships. At breaking points, words spoken in anger can wound deeper than the situation itself. Bridges burn quickly under stress, leaving scars long after the storm has passed. But when you remain calm, you protect not only yourself, but also those around you. Your restraint becomes a shield, keeping pain from multiplying. Calm at the breaking point saves bonds that might otherwise be destroyed. The mind at its breaking point often exaggerates pain. A problem feels larger than life. A failure seems permanent, and a loss feels like the end. Calm shrinks these illusions. It reminds you that pain is heavy, but not endless. That setbacks are sharp, but not eternal. When you anchor yourself in calm, you step back and see reality more clearly. This clarity allows you to respond with wisdom instead of panic. At your limits, calm is not just strength, it is strategy. Panic drains energy, while calm preserves it. Outbursts scatter focus, while calm sharpens it. Breaking points are not only about survival, but about how you emerge from them. Those who collapse must rebuild from nothing, but those who remain calm step forward with lessons intact. Calm turns breaking points into building points, crafting resilience out of struggle. Calm at the breaking point inspires others. When people around you see someone standing firm in chaos, they find courage within themselves. Your calm becomes contagious, steadying those who would otherwise fall apart. Leadership is proven not when times are easy, but when everything is falling apart. By holding calm at your limit, you become a pillar for others, a reminder that storms can be endured without losing composure. Calm also prevents permanent scars. Breaking points often tempt you to escape through destructive choices, abandoning responsibilities, harming relationships, or turning to unhealthy habits. These reactions feel like relief in the moment, but create wounds that last long after the storm. Calm interrupts this cycle. It teaches you to endure pain without turning it into damage. With calm, you walk through the fire without letting it burn your future. Some think calm means hiding emotion, but true calm allows emotion to exist without being controlled by it. At breaking points, tears may fall, the heart may race, and the body may shake. But calm reminds you that these are natural responses, not commands. You can feel without being ruled. Calm gives you authority over your emotions, proving that they are messengers, not masters. Every breaking point carries a gift hidden beneath its weight. It reveals the cracks in your foundation and forces you to rebuild stronger. Without calm, you miss that gift, blinded by panic. With calm, you extract the lesson, turning pain into wisdom. Breaking points are not designed to destroy you. They are opportunities to uncover the depth of your resilience. Calm ensures you do not miss the treasure hidden in the struggle. Calm at the breaking point is the highest form of victory. It proves that strength is not measured by avoiding storms, but by remaining unbroken within them. It is the ability to face what feels unbearable without losing yourself. Calm transforms breaking points into turning points, weakness into endurance, and chaos into clarity. The one who holds calm at their limit discovers they were never breaking, they were becoming unshakable. Power is often mistaken for volume. The louder the voice, the stronger the presence. But true power does not need to announce itself. It stands in silence, steady and undeniable. The strongest forces in nature do not shout. Mountains tower quietly. Rivers carve valleys without a sound. In the same way, a person who holds power without noise commands more than one who demands attention. Quiet strength speaks louder than arrogance ever could. Noise is often used to mask insecurity. People who do not trust their own strength try to prove it through volume, aggression, or display. Yet those who are truly powerful have no need to convince others. They let their actions speak, their calmness radiate, and their presence carry weight. The absence of noise becomes a declaration in itself, a statement that strength does not beg to be noticed. Holding power without noise is not about being passive. It is about being deliberate. It is choosing silence when others expect anger, choosing restraint when others demand reaction, choosing focus when distractions shout for attention. Noise scatters energy, but silence gathers it. When you conserve your energy instead of wasting it on empty displays, you become precise, effective, and unstoppable. In moments of conflict, noise often escalates chaos. Voices rise, tempers flare, and clarity vanishes. But the one who remains calm controls the outcome. Silence unsettles aggressors because it cannot be manipulated. Noise gives away your strategy, but stillness keeps it hidden. To hold power without noise is to become unreadable, and what cannot be read cannot be defeated. The strongest leaders in history were not those who shouted the most, but those whose quiet presence commanded respect. They did not need to constantly explain their authority, because their discipline made it evident. People followed not out of fear of noise, but out of trust and composure. Power held in silence builds loyalty, because it proves stability. No one trusts a storm that rages endlessly, but all lean toward the tree that stands unshaken. Noise is a distraction, both for you and those around you. It clouds thought, scatters focus, and wastes precious time. Holding power without noise means valuing clarity over chaos. It is the decision to speak less but mean more, to act less often but act with precision. Silence sharpens intention, turning every choice into an impact. Noise fills space. Calm power shapes it. In everyday life, holding power without noise creates influence that is subtle yet lasting. When you listen more than you speak, people trust your words when you finally do. When you stay calm in situations where others panic, they naturally lean toward your stability. Influence born of silence is harder to see but impossible to ignore. It works quietly, weaving respect into the fabric of relationships. Silence in strength is often misunderstood as weakness, but this misunderstanding works in your favor. Those who underestimate you lower their guard, leaving themselves exposed. When you finally move, your actions arrive with more force because they were not expected. Quiet power has the element of surprise. It hides in plain sight, waiting for the exact moment to reveal its presence. The discipline to hold power without noise comes from self-mastery. It is not enough to control words. You must also control thoughts and emotions. Anger may burn within, but you keep it from spilling out. Fear may whisper, but you do not let it dictate your steps. Desire may tempt, but you choose restraint. This internal discipline is what gives silence its authority. Power without noise is not about silence alone. It is about timing. There are moments when speaking is necessary, but those words should be chosen with intention. A quiet person who speaks rarely carries more influence because their words are not wasted. Their silence makes every statement heavier, every decision more meaningful. Holding power without noise is about knowing when to stay still and when to strike. The unseen strength of silence also protects your energy. Constant reaction drains you, but silence preserves you. Every unnecessary argument avoided is energy saved. Every impulsive reaction resisted is focus gained. With quiet control, you invest your energy where it matters most. The noise of others becomes background, while your path stays clear. This conservation of energy is what makes your strength sustainable. The world often rewards those who appear the loudest, but time always reveals who holds real strength. Noise fades, calm power endures. Shouting wins moments, but silence wins eras. Those who live for display are forgotten when the lights go out, but those who live with quiet strength remain remembered. Legacy is not built on noise. It is built on substance. Holding power without noise is also a gift to yourself. It spares you from regret, born of reckless words. It protects your peace from being stolen by conflict. It frees you from the need to prove yourself endlessly to others. Quiet strength allows you to live on your own terms, untied to the opinions of those who only see value in noise. Silence is not emptiness, it is freedom. In relationships, quiet strength builds deeper connections. People feel safe around those who do not constantly react. They trust someone who listens more than they interrupt. They admire someone who radiates calm instead of chaos. By holding your power in silence, you become a source of stability in a world addicted to noise. Your presence becomes a refuge rather than a disturbance. The essence of holding power without noise is simple. Strength that does not need to prove itself is the strongest of all. Noise demands recognition, but silence commands it. Noise fades quickly, but calm imprints itself deeply. When you hold your power quietly, you do not just influence moments. You shape outcomes, inspire trust, and leave a mark that outlives words. True power is not what you show, it is what you carry in silence. Still waters appear calm on the surface, but beneath them lies incredible depth. This image reflects the discipline of a mind that refuses to be disturbed by every ripple of life. Just as the ocean does not lose its vastness when the wind blows, a disciplined spirit does not lose its balance when chaos arrives. True strength is not found in constant motion, but in the ability to remain steady when everything around you demands reaction. The discipline of still waters requires mastery over impulses. Most people rush to respond, to defend, to prove themselves in every situation, but silence, like still water, carries hidden power. By choosing not to react instantly, you create space for wisdom to guide you instead of emotion. That pause between action and reaction is where your strength is forged. Calmness is not natural in a world built on noise and distraction. It is trained. Just as a river learns to flow patiently around rocks, you learn to let obstacles pass without losing your path. Each time you resist the urge to be shaken, your inner waters deepen. Discipline does not come in one moment. It is shaped through repeated choices, each one reinforcing the calmness you carry. Still waters do not mean weakness. They mean control. A raging storm looks powerful, but it destroys everything in its path, including itself. Calm waters, on the other hand, nourish, sustain, and endure. In the same way, an undisciplined person burns out in chaos, while a disciplined one thrives in it. True discipline is not about avoiding storms, but learning how to remain unbroken within them. Discipline also demands patience. You cannot force stillness in your spirit any more than you can force a lake to settle instantly after a stone is thrown. It takes time for the ripples to fade, and it takes time for the mind to grow steady after being disturbed. Patience is the practice of allowing calmness to return, trusting that the waters within you always know how to settle if you give them space. The discipline of still waters is also about clarity. When waters are turbulent, you cannot see what lies beneath, but when they are still, the reflection becomes clear. In the same way, when your mind is restless, wisdom hides. Only in stillness can you see truth clearly. Discipline is what gives you that clarity, enabling you to see beyond the noise of emotion and into the essence of reality. Resisting provocation is a test of this discipline. Many will try to disturb your waters, pushing, insulting, or testing your patience. They want to stir your calm because they do not understand it. But discipline is not letting others dictate your inner state. To remain unmoved when provoked is not weakness, it is mastery. It proves that no one else controls your waters but you. There is also strength in consistency. Still waters remain steady, regardless of the time of day or the strength of the wind. Discipline requires the same constancy. It is not enough to be calm when life is gentle. You must hold stillness even when storms rage. Anyone can be peaceful when undisturbed, but true discipline is remaining peaceful when tested. In stillness, you learn control over words. Many regrets in life are born from speaking too soon, too harshly, or without thought. The discipline of still waters teaches you to let words pass through a filter of calmness before they leave your lips. By speaking less, you speak with more weight. By waiting, you avoid mistakes. Silence becomes not emptiness, but wisdom in motion. Discipline is also about balance. Still waters are not stagnant. They move quietly, guided by currents unseen on the surface. Your discipline should be the same, not rigid but flexible, not lifeless but intentional. Balance allows you to bend without breaking, to adjust without losing yourself. Discipline without balance becomes suffocation, but discipline with balance becomes freedom. The discipline of still waters is not only about the self, but also about how you affect others. People who encounter your calmness will feel steadier themselves. Just as a quiet lake soothes the one who sits beside it, your presence can bring peace to those around you. In this way, discipline becomes a form of influence, shaping the environment without force. Another layer of discipline is resilience. Still waters may seem fragile, but they endure through seasons of drought and flood. Likewise, your discipline is tested not in comfort, but in difficulty. Every trial you endure without breaking adds depth to your stillness. Discipline turns suffering into strength, transforming chaos into wisdom. The discipline of still waters also requires humility. You do not need to show your strength at every opportunity. Like a lake that reflects the sky, you allow others to see themselves in your calmness. Humility keeps your discipline from becoming pride. It reminds you that true stillness is not for display, but for living in harmony with yourself and the world. The discipline of still waters is about freedom. A restless mind is a prisoner to every disturbance, but a disciplined one is untouchable. No insult, no challenge, no storm can steal its peace. By mastering the art of stillness, you hold the greatest power, the ability to remain yourself, no matter what happens outside of you. Calmness becomes not just a state, but your strongest weapon. The greatest truth of still waters is this: they seem quiet, but they hold infinite strength. Discipline makes you the same. You do not need to move loudly to prove your power. You do not need to react to show your strength. Your silence, your patience, your depth, these are what make you unshakable. In mastering the discipline of still waters, you master yourself, and in mastering yourself, you master life. The world does not always move with you. Often it pushes against you. Challenges rise like waves, testing your balance, your strength, and your will. To stand firm in such moments requires more than physical endurance. It requires inner stability. You must build roots deep within, so that no matter how strong the wind, you remain grounded. Standing when the world pushes begins with belief in yourself. Doubt makes you stumble before the storm even reaches you. But when you hold conviction in your purpose, you become less movable. Self-belief acts like an anchor, holding you steady when life tries to drift you into despair. Without belief, the push of the world will always feel heavier than it truly is. Resilience is not the absence of struggle, but the refusal to surrender. When the world pushes, it is easy to think falling means failing. But resilience teaches that every stumble is part of standing taller. Each time you regain your balance, you grow stronger. Standing is not about never being shaken. It is about rising each time you are. The world pushes hardest in silence, through unseen pressures like fear, uncertainty, and isolation. These are battles no one else sees, yet they are the ones that weigh you down the most. To stand in these moments, you must strengthen the mind as much as the body. Mental fortitude keeps you steady when no one else knows you are trembling inside. Discipline is the quiet armor that shields you when the world presses close. Without discipline, your strength leaks into reaction, anger, or despair. But with it, you direct your energy where it matters. Discipline is saying no to panic, no to unnecessary fights, no to giving in. It is choosing to stand still even when every part of you wants to collapse. When life pushes you back, perspective becomes vital. If you see obstacles as punishment, you weaken. If you see them as training, you strengthen. The world pushes not always to break you, but often to shape you, like a sculptor striking stone. The pressure reveals the form within. Your response decides whether you are shattered or refined. The ability to stand also comes from patience. The push of the world is rarely a single blow. It is continuous, wearing you down slowly. Patience is what allows you to endure without rushing to escape. You cannot outpace every storm, but you can outlast it. By waiting with steadiness, you prove that time itself cannot move you. Calmness is your greatest shield. When chaos pushes, panic only feeds its strength. But calmness absorbs the pressure, slowing it, softening it, rendering it powerless. A calm mind is like a tree that bends in the wind. It may sway, but it does not fall. Calmness allows you to adapt without breaking. To stand when the world pushes, you must choose direction over reaction. Reaction scatters your footing, but direction gives you balance. You cannot stop the push, but you can decide where you are going despite it. Even if the storm tries to drag you backward, each deliberate step forward reclaims ground. Standing is not just staying still, it is continuing to move with intention. Courage is essential in these moments. Fear makes the world's push feel heavier than it is, but courage lightens the burden by shifting focus from fear to possibility. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is standing while afraid. It is facing the push with eyes open, heart steady, and feet planted. Courage transforms pressure into proof of strength. You must also learn flexibility. Standing firm does not mean being rigid. A rigid tree snaps in a storm, but a flexible one bends and survives. The same applies to you. Unyielding pride can break you, but humility and adaptability allow you to last. Standing is not about resisting every push. Sometimes it is about adjusting until the storm passes. Faith plays a vital role when the push is unbearable. Faith reminds you that the storm will not last forever, that no pressure is infinite. Whether faith in a higher power, in destiny, or in your own resilience, it gives you strength beyond what you think you have. Faith whispers, keep standing. This push will not define you. When the world pushes, silence becomes your ally. The more you argue with pressure, the more it drains you. But silence conserves energy, keeping your strength intact. Stillness allows you to calculate your next step, while others are swept away in noise. Silence is not surrender, it is strategy. Support from others also strengthens your stand. Even the strongest walls rely on foundations, and so do people to endure. You do not always have to stand alone. Friends, mentors, and loved ones can steady you when your legs weaken. Asking for support is not weakness. It is wisdom. Unity multiplies strength, where solitude may break. Focus sharpens your stand. Distractions weaken your footing, but focus keeps your eyes on what matters. The world may push from all sides, but when you lock onto your goal, the noise fades. Focus reduces chaos to clarity. It tells you, yes, you are being pushed, but remember where you are going. That clarity steadies your steps. Gratitude is another hidden strength. When the world pushes, it is easy to see only what you lose. But gratitude keeps you mindful of what remains. It shifts your attention from scarcity to abundance, from despair to possibility. Gratitude anchors you in reality rather than fear. It reminds you that even in the push, you still stand. Standing also means knowing when not to fight back. Not every push requires resistance. Some are better met with stillness. By conserving strength in unnecessary battles, you have more energy for the ones that matter. Wisdom is knowing which pushes to ignore and which to withstand. This selective strength keeps you from exhaustion. Every push you face writes a lesson in resilience. Life uses pressure to test and refine you, shaping you into someone unshakable. Each hardship survived becomes a stone in the foundation of your strength. Looking back, you will see that what once threatened to break you now builds the ground beneath your feet. To stand when the world pushes is to accept that life is not always fair, but it is always a teacher. The pressure may hurt, but it will not last forever. What remains after the storm is not the pain, but the strength you discovered within yourself. That is the gift of standing firm, the discovery of who you are when everything tries to move you. The secret is simple. Standing is not about fighting the push, but about outlasting it. The world will always try to move you, but you decide whether you bend, break, or hold. By planting your roots deep in calmness, discipline, and faith, you prove that no storm can uproot what is truly grounded. Standing firm is not about resisting life. It is about mastering it. Respect is rarely won through force. It is earned through control. When people see someone who governs their own emotions, their own choices, and their own responses, they instinctively feel admiration. Control is not weakness. It is power shaped into discipline. To control yourself in moments of chaos is to display a strength far greater than brute force. Control begins with the mastery of the tongue. Words are powerful, and once spoken, they cannot be taken back. A person who controls their speech commands more respect than one who speaks without measure. Silence at the right moment can carry more authority than endless words. To control your tongue is to guard your honor and elevate your presence. Anger is another battlefield for control. Most people lose themselves when provoked, allowing emotion to dictate action. But one who remains calm when insulted or attacked reveals unmatched strength. By not giving power to those who wish to disturb your peace, you prove that you are beyond manipulation. Respect naturally follows those who cannot be easily provoked. Control also applies to desires. When you deny yourself what is harmful, even when it tempts you strongly, you earn the respect of both others and yourself. Discipline in private builds dignity in public. People admire those who resist indulgence because it shows depth of character. Self-control over desire is proof of maturity, wisdom, and inner strength. Respect grows when others see consistency. Control is not displayed in one moment, but over time. A single outburst can undo years of reputation, while steady composure builds trust that does not waver. To command respect, you must show that your control is not temporary but deeply rooted. Constancy in restraint is what separates the admired from the forgotten. Control of reaction is perhaps the most difficult test. Life throws insults, failures, and surprises, all designed to shake your footing. Yet when you respond with patience instead of panic, you reveal mastery. People remember those who do not break under pressure, who remain steady in storms. Respect is given to those who are hardest to move. Control over time is another form of power. When you manage your hours instead of wasting them, you set yourself apart. Those who control time show discipline in action, not just in thought. Respect rises for the person who uses time wisely, who invests in growth rather than distraction. Time mastered is life mastered. Financial control also commands respect. Spending recklessly or chasing wealth blindly diminishes dignity, but discipline with money builds influence. People trust those who can handle resources with wisdom because it proves responsibility. Control over wealth is not about greed, but about order, foresight, and balance. Control of energy is equally vital. Not every fight deserves your strength. Not every argument needs your reply. Choosing where to place your effort shows intelligence and wisdom. Wasting energy on the trivial weakens you. Conserving it for the meaningful empowers you. Respect follows those who know when to engage and when to walk away. Control over ego may be the greatest challenge. Pride whispers for attention, recognition, and praise. Yet true control is found in humility, in not needing to prove yourself at every turn. People deeply respect those who can win without boasting, who can hold power without showing arrogance. Humility backed by control leaves the deepest impression. Emotional control builds trust in relationships. When people know you will not lash out without reason, they feel safe around you. Respect is born from that sense of security. To remain steady while others are unstable is to become a pillar for those you love. In this way, control is not just personal strength, but a gift to others. Control of focus is a modern form of mastery. Distractions surround us constantly, pulling attention in every direction. But the one who can control their mind and remain committed to a single path commands admiration. Focused control turns small steps into great victories. Respect follows those who stay locked on their purpose when others scatter. Control that commands respect is not harsh. It is calm. It is not about crushing others, but uplifting yourself. People respect not the tyrant who dominates, but the disciplined soul who rises above. Control expressed through kindness, patience, and wisdom is stronger than control expressed through fear. Fear fades, but respect endures. The ability to control your emotions in public adds weight to your presence. Many try to look strong by appearing aggressive, but aggression is only a mask for insecurity. True control shows strength without display. A calm face, a steady voice, a measured step. These reveal authority without the need for intimidation. Control also demands sacrifice. It means saying no when it is easier to say yes. It means restraining pleasure now for the sake of dignity later. This sacrifice is not loss, but investment. People admire those who can delay gratification because it shows vision beyond the moment. Respect is the reward of such foresight. A controlled person becomes unshakable in negotiation. They do not rush decisions, nor are they swayed by manipulation. Their patience unsettles opponents and earns admiration. Control here is not about outshouting others, but about outlasting them. The one who controls the pace controls the outcome, and respect follows the victor of time. Control of body reflects control of mind. How you carry yourself reveals your discipline. Sloppiness shows carelessness, but composure signals strength. A steady posture, deliberate gestures, and calm movements all express inner control. People respect what they can see, and a disciplined body communicates a disciplined spirit. Control must extend to thought. Not every idea deserves attention. Not every fear deserves belief. By disciplining the mind, you filter what strengthens you from what weakens you. People respect those who think with clarity and do not fall victim to every passing doubt. Mental control creates leaders, while mental chaos destroys them. Control that commands respect is about mastering yourself before trying to influence others. When people see that you govern your tongue, your actions, your emotions, and your choices, they cannot help but admire you. Respect is not demanded, it is attracted. The more you control yourself, the less you need to seek validation. Control makes you magnetic. The essence of control is freedom. By ruling yourself, you free yourself from being ruled by impulse, fear, or weakness. That freedom radiates outward, drawing respect naturally. Those who cannot control themselves are slaves to the world, but those who can control themselves become masters of their destiny, and masters by nature are respected. Unshakable strength is not born from noise or constant display. It emerges quietly, built day by day through choices that few ever witness. The strongest foundations are often hidden underground, unseen by the world, yet carrying the weight of mountains. In the same way, your strength is forged not in what people see, but in what you cultivate within. The quiet path begins with self-mastery. To control your impulses, to guide your emotions, to discipline your habits. These silent victories build the strongest walls. While others shout about their achievements, you remain steady, knowing true strength is proven in stillness. Mastery over yourself is the first step towards strength no storm can move. Patience is the steady companion on this path. Strength is not built overnight, nor is it revealed in a single battle. It grows slowly, like a tree stretching toward the sky. Each act of restraint, each choice of wisdom over impulse, waters your roots. Over time, patience transforms you into someone who cannot be easily broken. Calmness is the secret weapon of the quiet path. When you meet chaos with silence instead of panic, you disarm it. Calmness is not the absence of struggle, but the refusal to be controlled by it. Like still waters reflecting the sky, calmness allows you to see clearly. In clarity, you find the strength to act wisely and stand firm. Consistency is what turns moments of strength into a way of life. A single act of control is good, but repeating it daily builds character. Quiet discipline, waking early, staying focused, refusing distraction, may seem small, but it compounds into greatness. The world often ignores consistency, yet it is the very thing that makes strength permanent. The quiet path requires endurance. Life will push, test, and exhaust you, but unshakable strength is proven in how long you can stand. Endurance is not glamorous. It is often lonely and difficult. Yet every day you refuse to quit, you carve strength deeper into your spirit. Endurance is the language of the unbreakable. Humility is also part of this path. True strength does not need applause or recognition. It does not scream for validation. By walking quietly, you show that your strength is real, not a performance. Humility makes strength more powerful because it removes the need to prove it. What needs no audience cannot be shaken by opinion. The quiet path demands resilience. Failures will come and setbacks will strike, but resilience allows you to rise each time. It is the ability to bend without breaking, to keep moving despite the weight pressing down. Resilience is not loud, it is steady, like a heartbeat that never stops. With it, you become impossible to defeat. Focus is essential for unshakable strength. The world is full of distractions that weaken resolve. But when you fix your eyes on what truly matters, you grow strong while others scatter. Focus cuts through noise, turning chaos into direction. A focused person walking quietly is more powerful than a crowd running without aim. Discipline over words plays a role as well. Those who speak less but mean more command respect. Restraint in speech is a sign of inner mastery. By not wasting energy on arguments or empty talk, you preserve strength for what truly matters. Words spoken with control echo longer than words spoken in haste. The quiet path also involves mastering reactions. When others insult or provoke you, the temptation to fight back is strong. But true strength is found in refusing to be moved by negativity. Remaining calm in the face of attack unsettles your opponent and strengthens your character. Control over reaction is one of the highest forms of power. Sacrifice is often required. To walk this path, you must give up comfort, ease, and sometimes even relationships that weaken you. Every sacrifice sharpens your focus and builds resilience. People who avoid sacrifice chase quick rewards, but those who endure sacrifice gain unshakable strength that lasts. Sacrifice is the price of depth. Balance is another lesson of this path. Strength does not mean hardness alone. It means knowing when to be firm and when to be flexible, like water. You adapt without losing your form. Balance keeps you from breaking under pressure, while allowing you to adjust to change. Strength without balance is brittle, but strength with balance lasts forever. The quiet path is built in solitude. When no one is watching, you train your spirit. When no one is applauding, you continue your work. Solitude is where strength grows without distraction. While others chase recognition, you are refining yourself in silence. This hidden work becomes visible only when tested, and by then it is unshakable. Forgiveness is also a quiet strength. Holding on to anger makes you heavy, but forgiveness frees your spirit to stay strong. It does not mean weakness. It means choosing peace over poison. By letting go, you keep control over yourself instead of being ruled by resentment. Forgiveness makes your strength deeper and harder to shake. Faith gives the quiet path its backbone. When storms come, faith whispers that you are not alone, that your trials are not the end. Faith transforms pain into purpose, struggle into growth. With faith, your strength is not limited to your own power, but connected to something greater. This connection makes you endure what would break others. Gratitude strengthens you as well. By focusing on what you have rather than what you lack, you shift from weakness to empowerment. Gratitude keeps your spirit light, making you harder to move. It teaches you to see challenges as opportunities and difficulties as teachers. A grateful heart is a fortress against despair. Self-control ties all these elements together. Without control, calmness slips, focus scatters, and discipline fades. Self-control is the anchor that keeps your strength grounded. It ensures that no matter how loud the world becomes, you stay aligned with your purpose. With control, strength becomes not temporary, but permanent. Unshakable strength is not measured by how loudly you win battles, but by how quietly you endure them. The quiet path is not for those seeking applause, but for those seeking depth. It transforms you into someone Storms cannot drown, insults cannot move, and fear cannot break. In silence, you discover the kind of strength that lasts forever. The quiet path teaches this. True strength is not a display, but a presence. It is not the roar of thunder, but the steady firmness of the mountain. By walking with patience, humility, discipline, and resilience, you become unshakable. The world may shake everything around you, but nothing within you moves. That is the power of the quiet path. Chaos arrives in life like an uninvited storm, unpredictable and unsettling. It disrupts your rhythm, shakes your confidence, and tests your patience. Yet within this storm lies a choice: to be swept away or to stand still in composure. Breaking chaos is not about overpowering it with force, but about mastering yourself within it. Composure is the shield that guards your mind. When everything around you spirals, staying calm allows you to think clearly. While others panic, panic blurs decisions. Composure sharpens them. In silence you can see opportunities. Chaos tries to hide. True power is revealed, not in the absence of chaos, but in your ability to remain steady within it. Chaos feeds on reaction. It grows stronger when you mirror its energy with fear, anger, or haste. But when you meet chaos with calm, you starve it. Your refusal to engage on its terms weakens its hold over you. By not becoming part of the storm, you create space to rise above it and act from strength. Breaking chaos begins with breath. Inhaling deeply, exhaling slowly, you reclaim control over the body and mind. Breath anchors you when the world feels unstable. A calm rhythm in the lungs creates calmness in thought. From that stillness, you regain authority over your actions, making chaos seem smaller than it first appeared. Composure is often misunderstood as passivity, but it is far from weakness. It is strength under control, energy channeled with precision. To stand calm when chaos tries to break you is to prove that you cannot be moved. The storm may rage, but your silence is louder. The one who remains unshaken becomes the leader in crisis. When chaos enters relationships, composure protects dignity. Instead of shouting back or reacting harshly, calmness allows you to respond with wisdom. Words spoken in anger can destroy trust, but words spoken in calmness can heal. By controlling yourself, you influence others to do the same. Composure transforms conflict into understanding. In the face of failure, chaos often screams loudly, convincing you that all is lost. But composure whispers otherwise. Failure is not the end, only a step in the journey. With calm reflection, mistakes become teachers, not enemies. Instead of being crushed, you rise wiser and stronger, proving chaos never had the final word. Composure turns obstacles into strategies. When others rush blindly, you move with intention. The still mind can see patterns and openings that chaos hides. By slowing down, you accelerate progress. Where panic sees walls, composure sees doors. This shift in perspective is how composure breaks through what seems impossible. Every storm has a center of stillness. Likewise, every moment of chaos has a space for composure. It may be small, but if you find it, you can build your strength there. Just as the eye of the storm is calm, so too can your mind become an unshaken center. From there, you lead yourself out of confusion. Composure is not natural, it is trained. Daily discipline, quiet reflection, and self-control prepare you to stand firm when the storm comes. If you do not practice calmness in small moments, chaos will overpower you in big ones. Strength is built in silence, so it can be revealed in noise. Preparation makes composure possible. Breaking chaos requires perspective. Sometimes what feels overwhelming is smaller than it appears. By stepping back, you reduce its power. Chaos thrives when you stay too close to the problem, but distance gives clarity. Composure comes from seeing beyond the storm, knowing it will pass, and trusting that your strength will outlast it. Anger is chaos in disguise. It tempts you to lash out, to lose balance, to surrender your control. But composure disarms anger before it destroys you. By mastering anger, you prove that chaos does not own you. Calm strength speaks louder than fury, and those who control their tempers control their destinies. When chaos invades the mind, composure creates order. Thoughts may clash and spiral, but calm focus arranges them into clarity. Writing, meditating, or sitting in silence becomes the tool to organize inner chaos. Once the mind is still, no external noise can break it. Mental composure is the root of all resilience. Most people look outward for rescue, but composure teaches you to look inward. No external savior can calm the storm within. Your power lies in your ability to stand steady, to anchor yourself in values that do not move. The more you rely on inner strength, the less chaos outside can harm you. Chaos often arrives without warning, but composure allows you to respond, not just react. A reaction is impulsive, but a response is deliberate. By choosing response over reaction, you take control of the story. Composure gives you space to write the ending, instead of letting chaos dictate it for you. There is strength in silence during chaos. Words spoken carelessly add to noise, but silence preserves dignity and focus. Composure is not about saying nothing, but about saying only what is necessary. The fewer words wasted in chaos, the more powerful the ones you choose become. Silence is a tool of mastery. Composure also inspires trust. When others see you calm in turbulence, they feel safer. A composed leader brings order to a chaotic group, not by shouting commands, but by modeling stability. People naturally follow the one who does not panic. Composure does not just break chaos, it organizes others through example. Breaking chaos with composure does not mean denying fear or pain. It means acknowledging them without letting them control you. Fear loses its grip when faced calmly. Pain loses its sting when carried with dignity. Composure allows you to endure hardship without falling apart, proving you are larger than what you face. Every time you meet chaos with composure, you strengthen your spirit. What once overwhelmed you now barely shakes you. This growth is invisible to many, but transformative within you. Composure is not a single act, but a lifelong habit. With each trial, your calmness deepens until chaos becomes powerless. Chaos is loud but temporary. Composure is quiet but eternal. To break chaos, you do not need more noise, but more stillness. The storm will always pass, but the strength you gain from standing calmly within it will stay forever. That is how composure wins, silently, steadily, and completely. Silence has always been misunderstood as emptiness, but within it lives a strength louder than words. In silence, the mind listens more deeply, and the heart feels more clearly. Victory is not always the sound of applause or the roar of battle. It can be the quiet certainty that you did not lose yourself. Silence holds a hidden triumph, one that noise can never offer. True strength is rarely revealed in shouting matches or loud displays of dominance. It is revealed in the calm, steady presence of someone who refuses to be moved by chaos. Silence does not mean surrender. It means choosing not to waste energy where it is not needed. In this choice lies a victory that few ever understand. When you choose silence over retaliation, you reclaim power. Every insult ignored, every provocation unreturned is not weakness, but mastery. Silence is not the absence of action. It is the highest form of action. It communicates without noise, declaring, "You cannot shake me." This is a victory of spirit, invisible yet unbreakable. The world often equates loudness with strength, but real power is quiet. The strongest trees do not announce their growth, yet their roots run deeper than storms can reach. Silence is that root within you, anchoring, stabilizing, unseen but essential. In choosing silence, you build a strength that no noise can uproot. Silence is also the soil where wisdom grows. In stillness, reflection becomes possible, and understanding deepens. Words may rush, but silence digests them, transforming experience into clarity. The one who can remain silent long enough to learn always gains victory over the one who reacts without thought. Sometimes silence is the sharpest response. Not because you have nothing to say, but because not everything deserves an answer. When you refuse to feed conflict with words, you disarm it. The fire burns out when it is not given fuel. Your silence becomes the unseen strike that ends battles before they begin. Victory hidden in silence is also victory over the self. It means you have mastered the urge to prove, to fight, to be heard at all costs. The ego craves recognition, but silence humbles the ego and frees you from its chains. That freedom itself is a victory greater than winning any argument. Silence teaches patience. Where others rush, you wait. Where others waste energy, you conserve it. Victory comes to those who can wait without breaking, who can hold their ground until the storm passes. Silence is not idleness. It is discipline in disguise. It prepares you to strike when the time is right. In relationships, silence often saves more than words. Instead of reacting in anger, silence grants space for reflection. It softens tension and creates room for understanding. Many battles in love and friendship are won not through clever arguments, but through the quiet strength of restraint. Silence protects dignity. When you refuse to argue with ignorance or be dragged into pointless fights, you keep your honor intact. Noise lowers you to the level of chaos, but silence keeps you above it. That higher ground is where victory rests. Those who can rise above with silence are remembered long after the noise fades. Even in defeat, silence can carry victory. There is a difference between losing and being broken. If you lose outwardly, but hold your silence with dignity, you remain undefeated within. True victory is not always about the outcome. It is about preserving your integrity, no matter what. Silence secures that. Silence is also a mirror of confidence. Those who are sure of themselves do not need to prove it constantly. Their silence speaks louder than defense, louder than justification. To walk quietly, knowing who you are, is to win without needing validation. That inner assurance is a victory beyond recognition. In the midst of chaos, silence becomes a strategy. While others lose their way in shouting and confusion, you remain centered. From that center, you see solutions hidden to the distracted. Your calm becomes your weapon, and silence guides your decisions. That clear path through noise is a victory no one can steal. Silence also reveals truth. When you step back from noise, lies lose their power, and clarity shines through. Many victories are won, not by force, but by letting silence uncover what words try to hide. Time and quietness expose everything, and those who trust silence often emerge triumphant without lifting a hand. Victory hidden in silence is often invisible to the crowd, but it is deeply felt within. The crowd may cheer for noise, but your heart knows the weight of composure, the satisfaction of staying true to yourself, of not lowering to the chaos, is a reward no external recognition can match. Silence creates mystery, and mystery commands respect. The more you speak, the more others know your weaknesses. The less you reveal, the more powerful you appear. Victory sometimes lies in what you do not share, in what you keep protected within. Silence preserves strength by guarding it from misuse. Through silence, you build endurance. Noise is temporary, but silence sustains. Those who live in constant reaction exhaust themselves, while those who cultivate silence conserve energy for what truly matters. The victory lies not in fighting every battle, but in choosing only the battles worthy of your strength. Silence is also healing. In stillness, the heart repairs and the mind regains clarity. Every pause, every quiet moment becomes a step toward wholeness. This healing is its own victory, for it allows you to return to life stronger, clearer, and more unshakable than before. The hidden victory of silence is that it cannot be stolen. Wealth, status, even words can be taken from you, but silence is always yours. It is a choice, a discipline, a weapon no one can disarm. In silence you stand undefeated, because nothing outside has power over you. Silence is not about saying nothing. It is about owning everything. It is choosing control over chaos, peace over provocation, clarity over confusion. The victory hidden in silence is not just about overcoming others, but about overcoming yourself. And when you master silence, you have already won. Victory does not belong to the one who shouts the loudest, but to the one who remains unshaken when everything around them trembles. Calm is not a pause. It is a force, a hidden strength that bends moments in your favor. When you hold your center, you cannot be controlled. You cannot be broken. Let your calm guide you. Let it cut through the noise, and let it carry you past every storm. Because the one who owns their calm owns the outcome.